Hello and welcome back to another episode of Me, Myself, Help and I. I am your host Nikhil. Welcome to today's session. Thank you for being here. Dare to look inwards. This is something which has been a clear point of discussion amongst anyone I've met. All seem to have an idea to look inwards, and it seems that there needs to be something that is needed to be fixed before we have to look inwards. I know that was a bit challenging, but I'm just trying to say that there is always a need to look inwards whenever we talk about self-help or improving ourselves or starting to understand ourselves. There is this question of looking inwards. I'm slightly coming from a different angle. I'm challenging this viewpoint, as there is no doubt people need to be able to get help as they are, and that's very important, if not more important than physical resilience. I've often heard people talk about getting in shape physically, but seldom do they say it with pride that they are getting in shape mentally. There seems to be a bias that society has cast on us from a very young age. In my case, I think it was the way someone who was struggling was often outcast and becomes a social pariah and a nuisance and segregated from the entire populace. This is even true now. In some parts of the world, even in developed countries, I'm not sure whether we use developed and developing anymore, but growing up in India has certain stigmas, certain attachments to mental health disorders, and is still treated as though they are not human. So it is clear that there is different social norms in different society, but they have nothing interesting intrinsically or extrinsically problematic for the society. There is nothing intrinsic or extrinsic that is problematic for the society. This is true. Now, we can obviously have few exceptions like sociopaths and psychopaths. Those types of people have a different motive. Excluding them, generally people with differences in mental behavior are considered different. And this rift, as it passed down through generations, becomes more and more stronger. The separation for this mentality to sideline the differences become even more difficult to entertain, and we end up turning a blind eye or ignoring the problem that we are not addressing mental health challenges the same way we address physical health, which is our own ideas, our own theories. Looking inwards means really deeply and wholeheartedly reviewing the nature of our being and asking questions we otherwise would ask to people behaving quote unquote normally. What is stopping me from reflecting upon them? Is it a defeatist mentality that I am the way I am and that's it? Or are we in a growth mentality where we think about ourselves as work in progress? Think about finding ways to improve, be part of society, be valuable to yourself and your people around you. And these challenging thoughts often consume our time most of the day. So the question often becomes difficult to even ask, as your mind is in a state of constant churn, that we start to dig a little deep into the reason for challenging the questions which we thought would be the right question to ask. It takes you into a completely different direction. For example, I may have started with an intention to provide some insights I have gleaned over the past few years and trying to put them onto paper, and now I have a few words and no closer to get to the reason for writing so much. Have no immediate idea on what I should be talking about, but I know it's important that we talk about mental health. And I rephrase mental health as mental wealth. So sometimes we have this different association with mental health, and I want to conclude that it's mental wealth. It's our uniqueness and our mental well-being that contributes to our wealth. So the question often becomes difficult to even ask. For example, this is very important for me, and I know it is where I can be very useful and helpful. I often see this in my interactions with others. I have found myself caught up in my own thoughts and often fail to pay attention to the important learning moments for reasons that are selfish in nature, such as why is no one listening to me, or why did they not laugh at my joke, or why are they hanging around with them and not me, or why do I feel this way, why can't I enjoy this moment. That's when it kind of dawned on me, the moment, one precious time of everlasting nature. This omnipresent, never failed in the past and always there when you need it. It started becoming my friend. This moment that brought about a massive change in my life. I'm sure plenty of others have talked about in various different formats, and much more people have clearly ventured into the depths of understanding what this moment is and how it is linked to everything in terms of consciousness and quantum mechanics and all that amazing, imaginative, reflective work. But I'm here thinking about these moments as a friend, which was a long-lost friend. For about 25 years of my life, I never found this friend. And looking inward had a new meaning. It was also very cathartic, but not in the sense of it changed everything I knew, or I took a U-turn in my life, marriage, or any of those eventualities. It was just suddenly realized that everything in the world is mere figments of my imagination, and without losing the essence of reality for our day-to-day existence, this idea that the reality which I see or experience before me is a construct within me was very liberating. But I started to see these internal viewpoints in my life a bit clearly, and then it became easy to challenge and respond to them without the issue of its worth. Also, it gave me opportunity to become what I call an eye-catching moment. This is not the EYII, it's I. So I started, again, paying attention to the number of times during the day I say I. This little play of words might seem trivial, but if you just ponder this question, number of times you actually use the word I in your day-to-day life, you will understand, one, how many times you use it and how frequently you use it. You'll be surprised. And two, you are oblivious to this fact for a long time, and now you are realizing it, and you start to catch yourself even more. So I started becoming an eye catcher. Whenever I found myself thinking about myself or talking about myself, I stopped for some bizarre reason. Did not know why it happened. Many reasons prevail, but the most apt would be the willingness to look inwards, whilst also fully engaging with the manifestations of our own intuitions outwards. This was a revelation, and it gave me an idea. Whether is it possible to convey the thoughts in my mind without referring to myself once again going forward? Without using I or me, can I carry on living day to day? Maybe, maybe not. We will see. Hence the journey began. And I invite you to take a look at yourself and find any such instances where you can become aware of your eye-catching abilities. Again, thank you for listening into this short session. Just wanted to relay this thought about inner journey or looking inwards through this moment to moment experience and catching ourselves, thinking about ourselves. So stop being an eye catcher, or start being an eye catcher, and enjoy life. So with another episode, I will come back again. Keep listening, keep sharing, keep experiencing your life. Mindfulness is a journey, and we will love the journey. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. This is Nikhil signing off. Take it easy.